Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome on this special holiday weekend. Wishing everyone out there, whatever it is you're celebrating, we wish you all the best. And we hope that you are taking some time to truly listen to your intuition and listen to those around you. Our show today is the Listening Mentor, and our topic is finding our purpose from within. And sometimes aren't we thinking to ourselves, what the heck am I doing here? What is my purpose? We are going to be finding out how to find our purpose with our expert and the star of our show, Caroline Heward. She is the Harley Street stress expert joining us from London. Welcome. Hello there.
Wonderful to be here, Dr. JACALYN.
Nice to have you with us on this special holiday weekend. And whether you're celebrating Passover or Easter or Ramadan, whatever it is, we wish everyone the best. So, Caroline, many times when there is a holiday that's coming up, if we are religious or if we lost our way or if we're somewhere in between, we're spiritual, but maybe not sure where we fit in, we start to think about what is our purpose? We start to think there's something bigger that created us. There's a higher meaning. What is our higher meaning? Is this normal when it comes to holidays or times when we have to reflect?
It can be for some people. It just depends how busy we are. And it depends on what's going on around us. If we're really preoccupied and very busy, then there usually isn't time to think. But when we do go within and start thinking about what am I doing here? What's my purpose? It's because you've reached a point in your life that you're questioning. You're kind of getting to a space inside that says, well, is this it? You know, is this all there is? Because if this is what there is, if this is life, I'm not having fun, I'm not happy. And so it's the trigger that pushes you to question when you're not feeling that life is good or life is challenging. And it's that point. And it can be, you know, for me, it was when my dad passed away in 2000. That's when I kind of really started to say, well, what the hell am I doing here? Is this it? You know, but for others, it can be a family argument. It can be a breakdown in a relationship. There's always something. And for some people, it can be a midlife crisis, you know, at their 40 something or heading to their 50s and just looking back at their life and questioning, you know, well, what have I done? What have I achieved? Especially if there's others around them that have achieved a lot more.
Great points. And I really can relate to what you're sharing. I think also there are times when we question why we're in the situation that we're in. Maybe it's not something that we signed up for, or maybe it just fell into our hands, or maybe we made a choice to go down to a certain path and life just happens. So sometimes these questions and maybe the lack of answers can leave us scrambling for our purpose. I know for me, I think up until 2020, I really wasn't aware of what my purpose was. And then I realized that I wasn't living my purpose. And today I really know what my purpose is. But that doesn't mean that there aren't distractions or there aren't things that happen along the way. And you think, oh, where did this fit into the plan? So what does that all mean?
Well, life isn't linear. We don't kind of we're not born and then we know when we're going to die. It's a journey. So we're all on an exploration and a journey, an adventure. When we're born, we're goo goo and gaga and we don't know and we have no idea what the world is going to present to us. It's situations, circumstances, events that shape us. It's the opportunities that we decide to take and the choices that we make. And I believe, and it is, sort of up for debate, I believe that when you do find your purpose, when you question, is this it? That you go into a place of, rather than going on the hamster wheel and literally doing everything that you think you should do, questioning and getting to a point of saying, well, hang on a minute, what really moves me? What really moves my heart? What really makes me feel good? And one of the things for me was that, even when I was 12 years old, I was told by a very good friend at a little party that we had on a Friday evening, believe it or not, that I was a pacifist. And I didn't even know what the word meant. I was only 12 years old. And I kind of found that was really interesting because on some level, I've always been a pacifist, somebody that wants to move towards world peace. But that peace isn't about an external peace. It has to come internal first, and then that resonates out of you. So it was a really big deal when I started talking about it and finding a place of feeling comfortable with being okay in that space of saying, I want to play my part to create world peace.
And that's a huge undertaking that's so valuable that I feel when more people are interested in finding inner peace, then they can contribute to finding world peace. And, we have a show that's coming up. I'd love to have you on it. It's the title is Talking Peace Around the World. And I think you have a really great perspective that could lend a lot of credibility. So for this particular show, when we're talking about purpose, maybe it would make sense to really talk about the definition of purpose. If someone were to come to see you, a client, and they said, Caroline, I just don't know what my purpose is. Is purpose the same as passion?
It could be interchangeable, to be honest with you, passion, purpose, because when you follow your passion, you follow your meaning for life. And when we're at school and college and university, there's like a certain path that we're expected to tread, academia, career qualifications, which lead you into a job. But that isn't what a life's purpose is. A life's purpose is something that you're passionate about, something that drives you, motivates you. And so there's many people that do things that are extremely different and odd, that wouldn't be your normal job, but it actually changes their perspective and the world around them.
And when we think about perspectives can change depending on what's going on in our life, who's in our life, what's going on in the environment, what's going on in the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a phone call yesterday. I did a free consultation for somebody who essentially, when the lockdown happened, he left London and moved to Bognor Regis, which is a seaside area. And that was kind of, it was very reminiscent of what I had decided to do. I thought, well, now it's time, to move somewhere where, there's a bit more freedom in terms of land, country and seaside, rather than being in a city. So it's when something happens that triggers you, that makes you question, well, what the hell am I doing here? Because some people are on that hamster wheel, that treadmill, that they can't get off it. They know they're not happy, but they keep going on it because they don't know anything else. It's only when everything stops, like, for instance, the lockdown, or if there's a family sickness or illness, if there's a breakup in a relationship, or something major that happens in a person's life that makes them question. And that question will usually move them to a passionate thing, something that they love, something that they desire to do. And this is, sort of how authors write books. There's no career that says, you're going to become an author. You become an author because there's something you want to say, something you want to share, and you feel you have something to share, to gift for yourself and to the world. And so there's no career that says, train to be an author, that they're much after the fact of careers from school. So this is something that the passion inside is where your heart is, that drives you to what feels right for you to do.
Yes, absolutely. Some really good points there as always. And what I'm wondering is, when we start to reflect on our purpose, and I know we've talked about this before, it might mean that to truly get to where we need to go to feel like we're in a space of integrity, that we actually are at peace, we might have to let go of some things, some people, some situations. And one of those situations could be money. Some people are desperately holding on to money, holding on to a job because of money, staying in a certain neighborhood because of the appearances. And meanwhile, they might not be able to, there's we could go on and on and on. So how do we come to terms with these things?
Well, there's the biggest question. There's many people that I know that have given up their jobs, given up their lifestyle, me included, and following something that feels right for them, something that feels much more in alignment with their heart and their passions. And giving up the job is a big deal. There's many people, when I've been previously in networking events, and I've asked them what they do, they talk about what they're passionate about. So if they're a coach, or if they're doing some kind of a hobby type job, and then I somehow kind of get the inkling, well, what's your day job? And then they tell me that they're an accountant or a banker or a solicitor, a lawyer. And it always makes me laugh, because when we hear somebody talking about their passion, they're talking about something that truly moves them. That then they're staying in a job because of the credential, because of the money, because of what it gives them. It pays their mortgage. And this is a choice. This is very, very definitely something that people decide to do. And so the passion, the finding your purpose, comes in as like the extra hobby that they do on the side in their hobby time. And that becomes the bigger aspect of their life and the bigger challenge in terms of their growth and their movement towards what they really truly desire to be and what they truly desire to feel in their life.
And Caroline, I think you and I are in a really good position, which is that we have our own businesses, we're on our own, and we don't have to answer to someone. Many people do have to answer to someone. And when they have something on the side, they have a hobby, they have a side gig, a second job, whatever it is, something that really brings them joy, the other party may, because I've heard this before and actually happened to me when I was in a serious relationship, it's like, what are you doing? Wasting your time doing this when you should be putting all your energy into this, because this is where the money is. And it's like, no, I'm trying to explain to you that it's not about the money. I need this because it fulfills this. This does not. Well, if you don't have this, you're not going to have this over your head. So it's kind of, for people out there who are with a partner in a relationship or living with people, whatever the case may be, they may know that their purpose is not with the career, the job, the money. It's somewhere else, but they're not getting the support to make a decision.
Well, I'm going to share with you something that happened in terms of my marriage, which was we split up back in 2005. So it was a long time ago. And my ex-husband's love and his passion was boats and the canals. And he was ever more happy in doing boating work and just mucking around and doing work. And it didn't actually, he turned this hobby into a job. and he didn't really earn a lot of money from it, but that was where he was spending a lot of his time. And then he had a job which paid him, but he would always do it late at night, or he'd do it weekends, in time that really was supposed to be, for us to be socially interacting. But he would do it when he had to do it, when the deadlines were there. And that's because I watched him suffer in the job that was paying him, rather than being in the love of his hobby, of what he was passionate about in terms of the canal boats. And he was always tinkering. And I found it really wonderful to watch him light up when he was working on a boat. And we'd go off sometimes to bring a boat into one of the boating yards, and it was just fun. I would like to just lie on the deck like sort of Lady Muck, not doing anything, and he would be doing all the work. But what was really fascinating was to watch him light up when he was in that hobby of the boats. But he did make the money work. He just and it was always very stressful for him, so he kind of juggled the two.
It is wonderful to see someone in their glory and see that smile on their face. And I also wonder, because you and I have both done this, is to simplify our lifestyles to a degree. And you hear stories of people just saying, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to a beach and I'm making straw hats. And I know from Roland Friedel, who talks about living a wireless life, one of our team members here, he said something really profound, which is wherever you go, you always take yourself with you. So you're still looking for that purpose and seeking that passion, and yet running away might look like a good answer to find it.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so profound.
Running away.
Because many people, and this is a really interesting analogy, that many people look forward to going on holiday to escape, to get away. And I've never really been a big holiday person. I'll go away to do training. I'll go to very fancy places like the Bahamas and America and Florida, and I'll do training in very glamorous places, beachside places. And I always go to work on myself, because they're nice places to work, and this holiday concept is that you're escaping from your life, but you are still your life. It's you, it's your responses, it's your reactions. I've heard many times people say that it takes them a week to calm down to actually get into the holiday. Then they only have a few days in the holiday before they're actually packing to come back. And then they need a week to recuperate from the holiday that they've just had. And I always find it's fascinating that, sort of people take a holiday, they're booking their holidays because they want to escape. But the person and the place that they're escaping, they can't escape themselves. You can't escape you. You take you with all of your stress and all of your foibles. You take it all with you wherever you are. And so it's a fascinating aspect. And I always find it really humorous when I hear somebody say, I need a holiday to recover from the holiday.
I think that's funny too. Like you, I'm not a holiday person. I've traveled the world when I was in my corporate job and stayed at 5-star resorts and had the best of everything. And it was basically work, but it was working in a beautiful environment. I think what's interesting, and this has happened to me in the past, is when you're going on this amazing vacation, it's 5-star, it's this, it's that, and you're with the person in your life that you have challenges with, and you think because there's a beach and you think because it's sunny that all of a sudden the two of you are going to have this beautiful time, and all the problems that you had before you left are not going to they're just going to disappear. There's a magic wand. There is no magic wand.
There isn't, because the two people together are still the two people together. So one of the things that I do, and I find it amazing, is that I go on meditations. I go journeying in gong baths, and I'm in a journey in myself. So I'm having an adventure internally. I don't need to go to some sunny clime. I'm groaning and moaning, literally. When I'm
What's she doing there?
when I'm in a cacao ceremony, and I'm going, that feels so good to be here. And I'm only, I'm not anywhere, apart from being with myself. And yet I'm relaxed. I'm in a meditation. And so the noise of the mind, of the travel, of the stuff that we have to handle. And believe you me, there's tons of stuff for us all to handle at the moment, isn't there? There's
Yes.
tons of chaos that's going on globally at the moment for us to get caught up. And we could get caught up with all the stuff that's going on and getting soaked into the news. But what about doing a meditation? I did one with an incredible and very dear friend on Tuesday, which was celebrating the 4th of April, 4/4. It was a very big energy portal. And it was absolutely incredible. And when I got there, I was literally going, so lovely to be here. And it was an incredibly powerful experience where we were chanting, there was a heart blessing, there was a gong bath, and it was just beautifully choreographed by my lovely friend Fuzia. And it was like an escape from an escape. It was just like coming back. It's not escaping, it's coming back to my heart. And it just felt so incredibly amazing. And I just went to Clapham Junction for that. So it was about an hour and a half away. So it wasn't far. And yet I went inside into a very, very deep, peaceful space where I had incredibly deep sleep since then. And I've had incredibly powerful, creative and productive journeys in the last few days. I've done stacks in the last few days.
You're very organized and structured and disciplined. Would you say that it took you a certain amount of time to find your passion, your purpose? And are you still in alignment with it?
Yes, it did, because I was very fixed and wedded to what we should be doing. That sort of that story that we're told at school, that you get good grades at school and then you go to, depending on, sort of your finances, college, university. I did it all. And I did college and university later. But it was always about the exams for me, always about the accolade of doing well and choosing the careers. And so I'm a lifestyle portfolio student. I've always followed a career. So I've had a number of careers, and this is another career, speaking career as well as my healing career, because I've trained and studied. That's how I would say a career is. And essentially, yes, I do feel good in my career because I'm doing something I love and I'm helping people find their inner peace and their passion and their joy and their beingness, because we do get fixed on the treadmill. But, sort of there are challenges at times when there's no money, there's, the world has changed, we're having to handle all sorts of estranged things that have been put into our way and handling them. And my invitation for that and the insights to look at when there are challenges that are deep and big is that when you're in a passion, when you're doing something you love and doing a job that you really do have a passion for, those challenges, they actually give you more power to move through your challenges because you're doing something you really adore, something that you're passionate about. And whenever I'm doing consultations and I'm with a client, time just disappears because I feel good that I'm actually on purpose. And I've had a number of people say to me, "You're always on point." And that's because I reach the places that other people, when you hit the notes and you hit the words, that it resonates with them and it makes them move into a different place. So when you're in your passion, it makes those challenging times a little easier to handle.
Thanks for sharing that, Caroline. Do you also find that as you have grown and evolved and continue to reflect and do the self-care work, that your interest level in being with others who are not where you are, or maybe not even on the path in the same planet, the same stratosphere, that you just have moved away, not with any ill intent or any maliciousness, but you've just gradually just separated?
Yes, I would say that's very true. It took me a long time to feel comfortable or uncomfortable about it, because I've always had a lot of large groups of friends, and I've always had a very big social network, and that network is different and it keeps changing. Every time I do something different, it changes. And I spoke to one of my friends who was very much into martial art and Qigong and Tai Chi, and I did some training with him. And he said, I just kept saying to him, because what I was noticing, I was losing friends. They didn't seem to be there anymore. And he said, it's not that they're leaving you, you're leaving them. Your energy is different and you're not fitting with them anymore. And it did take me quite a while to get with that and understand what he was talking about. That when you move into different places and you're doing different things that you're passionate about, it changes your frequency, your vibration. And so you're not vibing in the same place as the people that you were with around that time. And so they literally just leave. And it used to really upset me. And now I'm evolving and I'm getting more comfortable. I'm saying I'm still human and I do miss friendships and people. And at the same time, what happens is I can see other friendships come in and it evolves. And my life consistently has evolved through the years, with each career change, with different people coming in and going out. And when their lives change and my life changes, it's quite a powerful journey. But, everything is there for a reason. When you create space, other people walk in. And when I let go of a very, very dear friend, and I do miss her, in that space of letting go because we wanted different things, a beautiful Tibetan monk walked into my life and became my new best friend. And, I had some glorious years of deep and meaningful friendship with him. And he sadly passed away in May 2020. But, if I'd have been still holding on to the other friendship that wasn't really working, it would have meant that I couldn't have been exposed to that very deep and meaningful friendship with my beautiful friend who was a monk.
Such a great point. Thank you, Caroline. And I think this is also important on the journey when we have to let go of people. Do we send them a text message and go, hey, adios, I hope all goes well for you? Do we just disappear? We see them calling on the phone, we block them. What's a good way to move on with grace and dignity?
To remain friends as best as you can. And it's not easy because what we do is we're all human and we want to be right. We want to make the other person wrong, and we do something that upsets them or they do something that upsets us, and then there's no way back. And it's very, very difficult because we get into our egos, and the kindest and the simplest thing is to literally drift apart, that the times that you meet up are not always the same times. And it is very challenging, especially if it's been a long time relationship, friendship. And, it's important to recognize that things are different and to be there if they need you, and for you to be there at the times that's appropriate. But, to feel comfortable that nobody's wrong, nobody's right. Sometimes things just fade, and it's time to allow that space to bring other people in. We are human and we want to be right, and we do things that sort of make it all wrong. But sort of from my perspective, I like to stay friends with everyone, and like to be in really good contact with friends in a way that makes it right for them as well as me.
I agree with what you said. I think also that sometimes we need closure. And I'll give you an example. If someone decided it wasn't a good fit, I'll give you a very simple answer. Okay. On Facebook, you can have 5,000 friends, right? So when you get to the 5,000, then people have to follow you. They can't be friends with you. So periodically I'll go on and I'll see that 6 people unfriended me. And I think to myself, well, that's interesting. I'd love if they would let me know why they unfriended me. And of course, this could become a full-time job just trying to figure this out. But I do think to myself, exactly what happened that you decided to unfriend. Or if I go to the YouTube channel and I'm always looking at how many views there are, how many subscribers there are, and there's been like back and forth, 2 subscribers that dropped off, then one. I'm thinking, where'd those 2 go? Like, I like to talk to you on the phone and go, hey, why did you make an effort to go and then unsubscribe? But yet this is a waste of time.
Well, it's because we get attached that happens. And there's a couple of people that I've trained with that I was in really, really good connection with. And I suddenly noticed that I wasn't getting their posts anymore. So I went in to find out what they were saying. And Facebook actually has an algorithm that if you're not in regular contact, they kind of drop out of your feed. So it's, and if I've got almost 5,000, so I have a challenge in keeping up with everything. What can happen is that, you go back to their page, and I found that a few of the people that I've trained with many years ago had unfriended me, and I thought, oh my gosh, and then I sent a request out to friend them again, and it's because they have reached their capacity. It's because they have reached the 5,000 mark, and so then they're selecting and deselecting what is appropriate in terms of what's going on for them at that time, where they are. And it might be that the training that I did with them back then is not what they're doing now. Even though we were friends, it's kind of, that was a training friendship rather than a friendship. And so it depends on the rationale and the reason. But I would say that many people can't keep up with their feed, and so they just unfriend people, not because it's personal, but because they just can't keep up with everything.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I also think that, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I get a lot of newsletters, especially from people who have been guests. I do not ever unsubscribe to someone's newsletter. Now, if someone spams me and I don't know the person, I know nothing about them, they're on LinkedIn, if they just find me through the public domain, then I may unsubscribe, because sometimes people are really harassing. They just keep sending you emails. But I don't unsubscribe, and I don't unfriend anyone. And you and I know there's a couple of people we could definitely unfriend. Anyway, we won't mention that. But I don't do it because I feel that there's a reason and a purpose as to why we're connected in some way, and going back to the whole thing of the purpose. But yet my purpose and your purpose and their purpose might not be in alignment, right?
Yes. Well, I've made my profile very public, and that's because it's very content rich. There's a lot of things that I'm sharing, and since I've been with USA Global TV and Radio, there's a lot of broadcasts that I'm sharing, and I want people that perhaps I don't have a really good and deep and meaningful friendship or relationship with to find the content. So I am accepting people. When somebody's like saying that they're from the army and they're in Afghanistan, I know that that's probably a fake profile for somebody that wants to do some holiday romance type thing, which is really a scammer. So, I have to be a little careful in terms of, people coming in to private chat me and then, essentially want to chat me up, and take money, or, just want to spend the time with me in chat. I have to be, sort of manage that situation. But, I very rarely unfriend unless I have that kind of a situation. So because it's public and because I want to share, I don't necessarily always have a lot of mutual friends with the people that ask me for a friendship and ask me for an ad. And that's because I've always considered that this is a public profile to share great information and to give people access to me rather than actually not finding me and having a challenge.
I think that's really a great point about being in the public domain. It's very different than having your private Facebook page where it's just for your friends and family. Yeah. So as we're coming to the end of the show, which is going by so fast as always, what are some things we can start to do if we look at self-reflection, we look at meditation, we look at getting out of our comfort zone to look at, are we living our purpose? And if not, what can we do?
Well, for many people, that's a huge question, to live our purpose, because they don't know what that is, because they're following the story, the route that we've been given from school, from academia. And so it's only when something happens that people will question, or they'll have a midlife crisis. So for some people, they don't know what that is. What I can share with you is, if you are unhappy and struggling, when you're in your purpose, you won't feel that same struggle in the same way, because it's the thing that lights you up, that moves you in terms of when challenges are difficult. And for some people, it's difficult to find what makes them motivated and what makes them passionate. But look at your hobbies. Look at the things that you enjoy doing. Look at when you light up. It might be that you might be the family agony aunt or the family agony uncle, and that might be what your true passion is, helping people. I've seen many people that are coming from the professional services background, like lawyers, solicitors, barristers, bankers, traders, stockbrokers, that have all looked at exploration internally. And what it is it just makes you feel more peaceful. And there isn't a just, it actually internalizes your peace within. And so you become more connected. So look at the times that you feel more connected to yourself and where you've been the happiest. For some people, it is to be an adventurer, to discover, to find different places. For some people, it is about an internal journey of self-reflection, which is what the monks and the nuns do, and many people that are in a very big meditational practice. And so it is about, we're all different, we're not the same, there's not one size, one boot fits all, we're all different, and we're all here in a journey of life to explore, to experience, to grow, and to become more of who we were meant to be as a human being.
It's truly beautiful, Caroline. If people want to work with you, they want to hire you, they want to get a free Zoom consultation, what should people be doing right now?
Well, if you reach out to me on email, which is nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me if you're international, +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. And I offer a free 30-minute consultation, whether it's Zoom, Skype, or over the phone, if you're shy about the camera, and tell me what's going on for you, what's not working for you. And I can assure you, you will feel much more peaceful by the end of the call. And if you want more, then we can organise a programme and a package that works for you, your timing and your budget.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And also, I'd love for you to tell our audience about your work as a talking head and also on A Woman's Prerogative.
As a talking head expert presenter, I have a show on a Tuesday at 5 p.m. British Summer Time. And that show is pure content. And it's actually even more than that. They're healing transmissions, because I'm looking at various subjects of what causes our stress, our anxiety, our depression, our physical, emotional, mental ache and pain. The things that go on for us that are difficult, are challenging. And I'm looking at some very, very challenging subjects that will be meaningful for many people from various backgrounds. And it's looking at what stress is and how we can step into a state of awareness. Check out the shows. There is a number of shows from 2002, Talking Heads under my name, and my shows this year under my name, Caroline Heward, 2023. And I'm there every Tuesday at 5 p.m. On A Woman's Prerogative, I'm actually part of an incredibly prestigious channel of a lineup of speakers and givers that really are all heart-centered. And I'm there to share and give knowledge, information, insights. I always find the shows are extremely rewarding and powerful. I learn something, and other people, on the show learn things from each other. It's just an extremely happy and lovely exchange of ideas. And Dr. JACALYN is really good at finding extremely interesting topics for us to debate and to share our own thoughts and insights.
I amuse myself, believe me.
I always leave the show smiling and laughing.
Oh, well, it's been another great show, and we've got Pet Psychic Amina coming up right after this. So, Caroline, thank you again, and thank you to our viewers and our listeners. And please go in peace, and we look forward to seeing you again on Monday for A Woman's Prerogative. Stay tuned wherever you are now. As I mentioned, we're coming back with Pet Psychic Amina. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. I have to take down this banner. Woo, here we go. All right, now we're really saying goodbye. Bye.